What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Just One Podcast. My name's Jordan, alongside my good friend Garrett. And today, we have a very special guest alongside us, our man, Colton Wall, a.k.a. Seawall. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. I love the Seawall adage there. You got to call me Seawall, guys. That's the nickname I grew up with. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
We could throw it back to the Xbox days of Free Willy.
Oh, Free Willy! Oh, man.
Mr. Free Willy.
Garrett's a real one.
I'm having flashbacks right now just from that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, that's a good
That
one.
is funny.
That's a good one.
Me and Colt would hop on zombies, and with Nick too every once in a while, because that was Nick's big thing. Zombies,
what was Nick's
bro.
username? I gotta know.
Oh, dude. Oh my God. What was Nick's username? It was something out there. I can tell you that.
I gotta know the thought process he had when he chose his name. His brain is awesome. I gotta know it.
We'll have to
I've got to go
here.
look it up. I've got to go look it up now.
Yeah, all right, that's our homework for the week already. Find out Big Nick's Xbox username.
It was probably Big Nick.
It probably was just Big Nick. I could see that.
Big Nick won. Okay.
Sorry.
Man, that's funny.
I love it.
Before we get into, the questions and everything, talking with Colton a little bit. Colton, you know this. You've listened to the episodes. So we're going to start out with some good news of the week. Does anybody want to volunteer to go first? I can.
Hey, I love going first.
Let's do it
first. Yeah. So I love this. By the way, I love this segment you guys do. I love it when y'all do it every week. I think we need to do more good news of the week everywhere across the world.
Amen.
Honestly,
Amen.
Agree.
But one that I'm excited about is the Masters. It starts today. I wish I always had the opportunity to go. I think it's a very unique situation you'll find yourself in if you get to go. But I'll be watching it as much as possible, throughout the week. I think most people, even if you're not a golf watcher, I feel like most people tune in just to see,
Yeah.
I would love it if Tiger won, but Tiger, I don't know if he'll do it again. No, I don't think he'll do it again. Just to have one more. I think he's at 5 right now. And for him to get to 6, I think he would tie the all-time record for most majors at the Masters, which I thought would be pretty cool. But yeah, Masters this weekend. I know a lot of people will be watching. I'm excited for that. I think that's some pretty good news. Brings people together. So that's all I had. But yeah,
good stuff, man. Good stuff. What you got, Garrett?
Good news this week. We picked up the keys to the house, so we've got a new house. It's ours. Morgan and I can officially start moving stuff in and making it a home. So we're excited.
Big steps. Big things, big dreams.
Scoot over,
big
Masters.
Accomplishments.
Scoot over, Masters.
We got big stuff going on.
That's good. That's good. Let's see. For me, today I'm running my 5K. I've been training for a little bit. I've been training for a little bit, so now it's time to put my money where my mouth is.
What's the game time temperature looking like?
Hot.
Starting gun temps.
I bet it's hot.
Let me tell you, it's going to be hot because, one, I'm in Florida, Central Florida.
Yeah,
the worst.
Two, it's supposed to rain at 5 o'clock. The race is at 6:30.
Oh my gosh,
the humidity is going to be brutal too.
Yeah, you're going to wear a poncho.
Yeah, and we're running at an airport, and it's on the tarmac.
Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me.
It's a really cool concept, but in Central Florida,
it ain't it. It ain't it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for disaster. So your boy's gonna be fighting some demons out there today. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me
tell you.
You'd take a page out of the Michael Scott Book of Running and remember to drink your water, please.
Don't be like Andy and make sure you put some things over your
nipples. No white
Seriously,
shirts.
you might start bleeding, brother.
Yeah,
be careful.
Oh, that's great.
I think for the 5K I'll be okay, but whenever I do my half marathon in November, I'm gonna be strapped up. That's for sure. That's for
Good
sure.
for you,
but
man. I think that's awesome.
Yep, that's my good stuff. So So let's get into who this wonderful human being is that has joined us today on our podcast. Colton, brother, we've known each other for a long time. We go way back. If you want to just kind of take the floor for a minute and introduce yourself and share as much as you want to about your life, and we'll go from there, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Playboy millionaire over here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just, yeah, my name is Colton. I've known these two guys for a very long time, and I love what they're doing with this podcast. I think it's wonderful. And I'm just a regular dude living in Pensacola, Florida, born and raised with both guys, actually. So I met Jordan, actually. I think me and Jordan were actually the definition of day one, because I'm pretty sure Miss Mickey and my mom met at Gulf Coast Hospital and then just went from there. And I remember as a kid just going to Jordan's house, parents singing karaoke. Mr. Michael get down on the karaoke, by the way.
Till the break of dawn. Till the break of dawn, brother.
And even as like a 4-year-old, I remember that. It's crazy. Yeah, just going over to Jordan's house as a kid was awesome. And I actually met Garrett for the first time. I think it was late in middle school. And it was really through mutual friends and then sports as well, because all three of us.
We played on the Mets.
Yeah, the Mets. Oh,
Mets,
God,
baby.
that team. Oh,
go
gosh.
Mets.
That was one of those teams where everybody was so good and I was so average.
No, dude, come on.
Oh, gosh, dude, it was brutal.
Because
I was used to playing with the Lynn Haven Rec dudes, and they were, I would love playing with those guys. They were not very good. But then when I went to R.L. Turner, I remember all those kids were great. But yeah, anyways, we can get off track. But yeah, Garrett, Jordan, wonderful dudes. And then about myself a little bit, I guess. I ended up, born and raised Panama City, went to Mosley with these two guys, met them there, hung out, the whole 9 yards. And then we all kind of branched off and did our own things. I went to Gulf Coast State College for a year and a half, got my associates, went to University of Florida, graduated there in 2020. I think you guys did too, if I remember.
Around that
yep.
time.
Yeah, COVID year. That was crazy. And then kind of started my career in sales around that time. Met my first company at the career fair at UF. And that really brought me to Orlando for about 2.5, 3 years. And then I was in Charlotte for 2, and now I'm in Pensacola. So I've been all over. First company was a company called Centos. And then my last 2 companies were both pharmaceutical companies, one smaller, one bigger. And yeah, man, I mean, I love what I do. I'm a new father, which is awesome.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Dude, yeah, I was showing the guys. Everyone can see. Climb up the rookie numbers here. 2 months, I'm already the best. It's crazy.
You got it at Spencer's.
Yeah. Honestly, who knows where this
Self-proclaimed.
It might be Spencer's. I can't tell you when.
Got it at Spencer Gifts. Michael Scott.
Gifts. Oh my goodness. But yeah, man. I mean, just that's really just a quick backstory of me. But new father, soon to be new fiance. She doesn't care if I say this, but the ring is coming. The ring is coming.
She knows it's coming. It's not a surprise. And let me tell you, that's like 90% of relationships, man. They know it's coming.
They know it's coming.
They know it.
They know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I saw Jordan's wife's ring, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a nice ring. I might need to go bigger.
Step it up.
But anyways, that's a little bit about me. Sorry, I get off track, but very excited.
That's great.
Well, let me tell you, Colton started off his intro by saying he's just a normal guy, and that is probably the farthest thing from the truth. This man is one of the most positive person that I've ever met. And that's sort of the reason, well, that is the reason why we wanted him to join us on our episode today, as we kind of talk about positivity and, kind of mix in a little bit of mental health. And Colton is the go-to guy when it comes to positivity, man. I mean, every time I see
whenever
him,
I think about Colton, I think of Mr. Blue Sky.
Yes.
The song.
Yes.
The song Mr. Blue.
Yes.
He's just like popping positivity,
Oh, you guys are
bebopping around, smiles on the face. Doesn't matter what's going on. He is Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah,
Man,
he's sweet, guys.
that is a great representation right there. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's true. Garrett's right. I mean, every time I see Colton, it's hard not to be happy. Let me tell you. And
Yeah.
and we're so blessed that you've taken the time to join us today. So we appreciate it, and we're just thankful for your friendship, brother. We really are.
Thankful for you guys.
Yep.
Y'all hyping me up too much, man. I gotta deliver now. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking.
Pressure's on, rookie. Come on, world's best dad.
Yeah, I gotta live up to the mug, man.
Jeez. So, Colton, I feel like your career path with pharmaceutical sales, that is like your niche. I feel like that fits you perfectly. You're a people person. You could talk to a brick wall for hours. I feel like, and that's
I have,
and I would listen.
I have, brother. I'm kidding.
And that's not slander either. Let me tell you, that's not slander. Do you feel like being in a career path that gets you around people, is that your passion for for the foreseeable future? Is that something that you feel like you are comfortable in doing for a while?
Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, I do. I mean, I think really anything we do, even with your guys' industries, I feel like you're always around people to some degree, no matter what. I think it's definitely something, even for those that maybe aren't the most outgoing, extroverted. I think it's still important to have some type of relational skill, people skills, whatever it may be, just because it translates to so many different aspects of different parts of life as well, I think. And so, yeah, pharmaceuticals is great because you're going out. I have a book of business of about 160 doctors in Pensacola. I got to go see them on a consistent basis, meeting their MAs, their PAs, their receptionists, the doctor themselves, going to the pharmacies in the local area, meeting those techs. I mean, there's a lot of people you got to talk to, and you really and truthfully, sometimes it can get very tiring. I mean, you're going
For sure.
driving a vehicle, and then there's even days where you're like, I don't want to go out and be super extroverted today. It's raining, no one's gonna be in a good mood. It's a Monday. I just kind of want to lay like this cat right here and just kind of stay on the bed and just hang out and do my thing. But like
lick
everything,
your paws.
yeah, right. So it's one of
life.
those things. Yeah, tough life indeed, and it definitely can catch up to you. But I think it's something long-winded answer, but to answer the question too, like I see myself doing it for a while. I think my career goals is to end up hopefully becoming a sales manager in the next 5-10 years, and that can take some time. You gotta get the numbers good, and like everything, it's performance based, right? So like you're in sports, you're competing for the position, you got to do well to get the position. So continue to hopefully do well there, and then I don't want anything higher than that. Some people want aspirations to be like vice presidents or on the executive board. I'm like, hey man, I just want to be manager and hang out. That's all I want to do.
It's a lot of
Be manager and hang out, dude.
It's a lot of responsibilities
I'll
at
put
the
that on
top.
my wall.
Yeah, it is. More money, more
I just want to be a
problems.
manager and hang
More
out.
money, more problems, as my man
That's
Drizzy
right.
Drake would say. So,
Colton, do you have, or I guess I know you do have, so will you tell us maybe one or two of your passions outside of work that you enjoy, or even if it's in the form of a hobby or something?
No, man, it's funny because if you asked me that question 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh gosh, what is my passion? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like, man, the last couple years, I've really gravitated towards a couple different things. One being sports cards. I love sports cards. Like it's a very
Really?
interesting. Yeah, there's a whole box right here. I don't know if the people on the podcast listening won't be able to see it, but that's all my sports cards
Oh, man.
right there. So you got
That's dope,
yeah, so that whole
dude.
white box is full of cards, and then that binder's full of like autographed cards, number cards. I've got a cool Wimbenyama. I don't even know what you call that.
I
collector's
saw
card.
that. I saw
Yeah,
that the other
dude, it's in
day.
that red piggy banks, and then
That was
and the
sick.
Fanatics is a couple baseball cards that are graded, as well as an Anthony Richardson Colts helmet, mini helmet. So I'm big into like
Wow.
collectibles and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna be straight up. I thought you said sports cars.
Oh
at the beginning.
no sports
I
cars.
was like, Colton, how are you affording?
No.
Where are you keeping
that will be
these?
affordable. Let's hey, brother, give me about 40 years for that. I need to be a manager for a long time for sports cars.
You need that vice president CEO money for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, you can't be a manager and just hang out if you want sports cars.
No, I got to go to the top for that, man. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's one. Man, I have one that's a common one, and I have one that's very cheesy, but it has a good spill to it. But second one's video games, man. I love video games. I think it's definitely the stigma has changed over the years. I think when I was younger, I was more embarrassed to talk about my video game habits because our older generation was like, "Hey, you're playing video games, you're kind of lazy, or you're not doing it.
Get off the sticks.
Get off the sticks. Go be outside with your friends.
Go touch grass."
Yeah, now it sounds like I'm playing Rocket League with Garrett right now. Go touch grass, man.
That's right.
But yeah, it's man, it's one of those things that I love it. I think the same 10 people I play with every day. I mean, we have a Discord of about really in that Discord, there's probably 20 or 30 people, but there's a 10 solid guys I play with on the regular basis. It keeps us, in connection with each other, unwind after a long day. It's just fun, man. It's just fun. And now that I have a child, it's been a lot harder because, when you have a child, it's a big responsibility to go in and, I'm helping Amanda feed, change, all these things with Clementine. And so that takes a lot of time away, and as it should. I think it'd be neglectful if I was gaming 5 hours a day with a baby. I don't think it'd be very good. But yeah, so that's one. And then finally, I think this kind of ties in with our topic today, and I'm not saying it to be cheesy. I think I am really passionate about it, is mental health and positivity in a way, and growth, really. I think self-improvement is the better way to say it. Self-improvement, I think, is something that I really fell into my lap probably about 2 to 3 years ago. And I think we're all, as young men, and this really can be tethered to young women as well, young adults, that we are challenged to ask ourselves questions like, hey, who am I? What do I want to be? What do I want to do to make a difference? And how can I be the best version of myself? And I think those are things that over time, I think I had to go through a lot of trials and turmoil to kind of get to that point. Because I think some people find it earlier in their lives, and then some people find it later in their lives. But mine was definitely around 3 years ago. But I'm passionate about it, especially men's mental health. I think is really important to me. Positivity, just self-improvement, growth. That's just, I love it, man. I'm passionate about it. And I think that's why I was so excited to come on, because I love talking about it. It's so much fun. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let me pull on that string real quick. What was it that you said about 3 years ago you got on like a personal development kick? What was it that got you on that? Was it a show that you watched, or was it a book you read, a quote you saw? Was there anything that catalyzed it or kind of lit the fuse for you that you were like, man, this is something I really want to start looking into and getting passionate about? Because I remember I could see it through your social media. You started posting a lot about going to the gym, and you were posting a lot of motivational quotes, and I love it. So what was it exactly that kind of got you on that train?
No, great question. And really a lot, like I kind of hit on it a second ago, trials and turmoil, I think will make you look at yourself in the mirror as a man. Like, all right, here I am. What do I want to do? Right. And so I went through, it was really my last probably 2 to 3 months in Orlando. Really 2022, I think, was the big end of 2021. I would say 2022 was a big time in my life where I was forced to kind of ask myself the big questions. And, I think what really got me started was I went through a big struggle with that job I was in, a previous relationship. And it was just not working out. What I was doing, the choices I was making, things I, thought that would work, did not work. And I sat there, I was like, man, something's got to change. Like at some point, you've got to do something different. And so I started actually, and I would recommend this to a lot of people, especially men, is devotional. I think really started. So I was big on the Tony Dungy, Uncommon Man devotional.
Yeah,
Loved
that's
it.
right. I
Oh
remember
my
that.
gosh, changed my life. That really got me started to really doing more research and, what other thinkers are out there that are on this same path. And so yeah, Tony Dungy's really got me started. I know we all know David Goggins is the man.
Oh yeah,
He's more, tough edged. You got to be
yeah,
ready to
yeah.
rock.
He's abrasive.
He is very, yeah, he's up there. But man, he's next level. And just guys like that, thinkers
Yeah.
like that, and then starting to work on myself, whether it was physically, emotionally, mentally, and yeah, that kind of got me going on the sphere, and I've never looked back, and it's helped me so much. So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
Let me
that's
tell you,
great.
Thanks for being vulnerable enough to
Yeah,
share that,
man,
by
of
the way.
course.
yeah,
Always.
absolutely. Yeah. Let me tell you, I miss your Colton Journeys page, bro.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
me
do
gonna
too,
too.
man.
Me too.
I
I'm
do
gonna be
too.
honest, bro. You need to revive that thing. I loved
Yeah,
it.
man.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was funny. We did it. I did it actually because of the devotional. Because I was like, if I hold myself accountable to make the post of the devotionals every day while sharing some
Yep.
fun stuff, I mean, it was never made to have. I'll be honest. When I made it, I was like, okay, I don't want anybody to follow this. It's just for me. And then when you
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
I forget when you make a public profile and people have your contact, they can see suggested accounts. People are like, what
Yep.
is this? And then I started kind of sharing to my story, and then
Oh
it was
yeah.
like, but.
Yep.
Yeah, secret
Secrets
was
out.
out, but I loved it, man. I loved it. I did it for that year. Jordan's right, man. Maybe I should bring it back. Who knows? But
I mean, there's no journey like being a
dude, I'm
father,
telling
dude.
you, it's the
Bro,
So
best.
Colton's
let's
on a journey
go.
like no
Let's
It
go,
other.
is the
man.
best. It is, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Man, that would be awesome. I would love to see it make a comeback. But
Oh man, you're sweet.
it's
Yeah.
like you're right. It's like your digital journal, your digital diary
Mm-hmm.
in a
Yep.
way, and it's
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of people who kind of hate on that for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. Right.
I really can't even think of a reason why they would hate on that. But I think it's good for the person who's running that account to, one, like you said, keep yourself accountable, and it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
a brain dump in a way,
Yep.
and let
Yeah.
me tell you, it spreads more positivity than you think it does, and
Absolutely.
you never
Yeah.
know who it's going to impact. So
100%.
it's
Agreed.
almost like, yeah,
100%.
there really is no disadvantage to doing something like that. So i'm I'm all for it. um so you mentioned in your career path how you're around people all day, and yes, it can be very draining, and you can have your social battery drained
Yeah.
real quick. And I sit in office all day, I'm at a desk all day, so my social battery doesn't drain probably as fast as yours does. Do you have any routines or any specific thing that you do to kind of reset or recharge your social battery in a way? And it doesn't even have to be your social battery to be around people. It can be just to reset your mindset um, and your body. Is there anything in particular that you do or any routine?
Yeah. No, I love the question. Yeah, I think a routine is important for a lot of things, whether it's a morning routine, nightly routine, whatever. I think it always helps, whether it is for, an emotional charge, a physical charge, whatever. I think the healthiest routine I had was for pretty much all of 2023. And then it's kind of waned off with the baby. And I need to, hopefully, as she gets older, I can get back into it. Was, waking up, I get up, go straight to the gym, no matter what, even if I didn't want to go. That's the hardest part, is just getting there, is what I tell
That's
everybody. I
right.
think exercise is
Yep.
very important. And I don't even care if you don't want to go to the gym. Just go run. Go run. I don't know. Like, I remember talking to you, Jordan, 5 miles that morning, and do what you need to do to get your body
Mm-hmm.
going. I mean, I think the
Yep.
best way to wake your body up is to put it through a test. And I think whether that's lifting weights, running, whatever. So that was one of my favorites. I'd wake up, go to the gym, start my day out that way, get home, clean up, shower for the day. Some people don't take showers every day. I do. I love it. I love a shower. It really wakes me up, especially in the mornings. And then from that point on, do your devotional. once you're done ready for the day, and then you go on for your day, whether it's your sales calls, whether it's you got a meeting with your, your sales team, whatever it may be. You're already started your day so early enough and you're so woken up that you can go. I think that's good for the mornings. That was my morning routine. Um, for an afternoon or like a nightly, I think what I would usually do is I do my best to disconnect from everything. So
Yeah.
whether it's social media to spend time with Clementine and Amanda, whether it's watching a show with the girls, whether it's I think that's really been how I've been disconnecting lately, but just anything to kind of get your mind off of what happened at work that day, spend time with your family. I think that that goes such a long way and it helps you reset. Because I've had days, and we all do, where you don't do that.
Mm.
I come home, I'm still stressed out about work. I'm like, oh, that I didn't go very well today, and now bringing it home with me to the girls. Clementine's only 3 months, so she's not very conscious of what's going on. But Amanda, she's excited to see me when I come home. And by the way, I know y'all know that feeling. The best feeling is when you come home and your lady's there waiting for you. Oh my gosh, unmatched. And just wait till the kiddos waiting for you at the door. Cannot wait for that. But oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. But yeah, I think those are two big things. It's just long-winded, but have a exercise routine in the morning, and really take care of your body. And then in the afternoons or at night, just disconnect, man. Be with your family. Do your hobby, whether, like for me, sports cards or getting on the games with my buddies, things like that. I think it's important for people to do.
Yeah.
So.
I think the hardest thing, and you mentioned it, and same for me, is when I have a tough day at work and I come home, like leaving that at the door before you walk in, and that's not to say that you can't, share how your day went with your spouse or whoever it is. Like, I think it's healthy to talk about your day, whether it was good or bad, and kind of tell your significant other, how you're feeling about your day. I think it's healthy to discuss that, but to also not let it affect the rest of the day, the rest of the afternoon, the time that you have for the rest of the day to spend with your family, your child. Uh, Leaving that at the door has been a real challenge for me, honestly. I've been a lot more cognizant of that. As soon as I'm pulling in the driveway, I kind of tell myself, okay, this is the kind of day that I had. I'm going to share my kind of day that I had. And then that's about it. We go on with our day and we enjoy the rest of our evening. Have you guys experienced something similar to that? And is there something that you guys do to kind of leave your quote unquote bad day at the door at all?
Garrett, you can go first.
Yeah, it's a little tougher for me because Morgan and I are still doing distance. But we have the same mentality of I want to, and Morgan is so good at this, dude. Any responsibilities, like if I know that I'm seeing her this weekend, any responsibilities that she has for that week, she grinds them out Monday through, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, so that when I get there, that time is ours. And we have as little responsibility to the outside world as possible. And, sometimes it sounds a little bit selfish, but right now we want to be selfish with our time, and we kind of need to be because we don't get a ton of it. When she gets here, and we live together full time, and, then I'll be in the same boat as you guys and I'll report back. But right now, I think our biggest thing is just prioritizing getting those tasks done so that we can have quality time together and, not spend our time doing tasks that we should have gotten done already.
That's
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think to piggyback a little bit, because it's funny, I did long distance as well with Amanda for, almost the whole first year we were together. So I know that's a challenge as well. And, I remember being nervous when we did move in together because it was the first time ever And that's how God intended it to be. Man and woman when they move in, and me and Amanda skipped the step. Right, we had a baby first. We can get into that later too. Praise the Lord.
Praise God.
And again, it was such a blessing. I mean, the Lord's blessed us so much, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Wouldn't change anything. And which is, if you asked me that 2 years ago, I'd tell you you're crazy. But yeah, I mean, when we started moving in, I was like, oh gosh, I don't know how this is gonna go. And man, it's been amazing. I mean, Amanda is wonderful and she does so much for me. And I think what I do, I have the mentality when I come home, I say, okay, my motivation today was to bust my butt for the girls. I'm like, and if you ever need motivation, that's what you have right there. It's like, oh, I've got a child. I've got a beautiful woman at home. I want to take care of both of them. I think a solid man who's in his right headspace, he's a natural provider already. And so I think to provide for them means everything to me. And so to come home and to, really do my best to be intentional in my time with her and Clementine, I think that has helped me check out better. And again, I still have my days, like if it's a really bad day, and Jordan, I think what you're doing is great. You come home, talk about it. I think it's okay to talk about it, especially because if your wife, and our wives, I know, love us. I know Jordan's wife, I know Garrett's wife, and I know Amanda, and I know they all love all three of us. I hope. I mean, I would say they do.
No, you're right.
Otherwise, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late because, well,
I don't know if my wife loves you guys, but she loves me.
And so they want to hear about our days. I mean, they want to say, okay, Jordan's stressed out. I want to know why. Talk to me about it, honey. And then, once you go from there, then it's okay to say, okay, we talked about it. We're done. We got out of the way. Let's enjoy the rest of our evening together. And then you go from there. So that's really what's helped me is just be intentional, do check in. One thing that does make a difference, and I don't know if everyone does this, me and Amanda have our weekly check-ins every week as a couple. So Sunday nights, we have our journal. We talk about, I have 10 questions we ask each other every single week. And I can even read them off to you. It's great for everybody. And you check in. Hey, what made you upset this week? What made you happy this week? What can I do to improve this week? And I think it sounds cheesy because it's like, oh, what is this, a business relationship? But I think it's really giving that allotted time for the couple to say, hey, we need to work on this, and this, and then you go forward. So
it makes that time so intentional to be able to answer those questions because I feel like, if you're just kind of going throughout your day, your normal day, it's harder to ask those questions. But if you have like an allotted time set aside to do that, it's a lot easier to talk about those things, those topics and those questions. So I think that's great.
And it's clear. It's clear. And good communication is clear communication. So if you're communicating clearly that way with direct, hey, what was good, what was bad, what can I do better, etc., which is great practice, Colton. That's awesome. Then you're clearly communicating with your partner. You know where they are at, and they know where you're at. So that's really good.
Yeah,
couldn't say it by myself, Garrett.
Well, you did. You already did.
Oh man.
So, all right, let's kind of change it a little bit. So, Colton, we've said that you are an extremely positive light, wherever you go. You kind of light up the room, bring up the energy in whatever space you enter. How do you stay so positive? And like, and that's an honest question because I talk about this with Maddie all the time. We saw you at Garrett's wedding. And I was so happy to see you there. I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy.
I was happy to see you.
And then afterwards, me and Maddie talking, and I told her, I was like, Colton is just so positive. It doesn't matter if he knows every single person in the room or if he knows absolutely nobody in the room. And it's like, how does he stay so positive? And that is an extremely vague question. It's extremely difficult question.
Build on it. I love it.
How do you do it?
And so, by the way, Colton is somebody that you want at your wedding. So if you want the guy who's gonna like Jordan too, if you want, those were my crowd plants on the dance floor. So if you need dance floor crowd
Jordan
plants,
surpasses
send them an invite.
everybody I know when it comes to dancing. Jordan is like top tier.
Every time I looked at both of you guys were
here.
boogieing.
Jordan's like way up here, man. He's such a good dancer.
Well, the difference is Jordan has the moves. Colton and Jordan, they both have the passion and the flow, the rhythm. Jordan just knows moves. You know, Colton's energy comes out however it wants to come out, baby. It's beautiful. Yeah, Colton is a ball.
I need a world's greatest wedding plant mug.
Yeah, I'll write a Sharpie on this one right here. Change it.
I'll get on it. Yeah, there you go.
No, it's a good question, man. I think, there's definitely times, and I guess I always start by saying it's always okay to admit when things are bad. Like, hey, it's okay to be negative. I think that's actually important. I think I am very positive, and that's a very good thing. And I think that there's even times where I have to hold myself back and say, hey, it's okay for me to admit that this is not great. Like I'm not excited about this.
Yeah.
But it's really helped me. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it was just, God when he was shaping people and he goes in and says, I'm gonna make this person super optimistic and I'm gonna make this person a little bit more pessimistic. I don't know how God and his creation works, and I'll never know until I get to, see him again. But I think that, I guess when God was just putting my regular old self together, he said, hey, let's just throw in a little spice of positivity to this guy. Maybe he actually spilt the salt on me. I don't know what it was, man. But yeah, I think it helps me with my mindset because I think life is so short. I mean, it's really helped me, when I think about life being so short. We have I call it finite. Like, God is finite, or infinite, I should say, but we are finite. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but we have
you're right.
Such a little time here to make a difference or to enjoy our minutes on earth. And I saw, funny enough, it's good. I didn't even think about talking about this. I just thought about it. But Eddie Murphy, I saw this cool little monologue he did the other day. And Eddie Murphy, the 75,
I love that. I know what
years,
you're talking about. It's so good.
And it's so true. And I'd recommend everybody watching that 75 years. I mean, we have, and that's at most on average, 75 years on this earth. And think about it, guys. We're already at 26. I mean, it's been so fast. And so to remain positive, I think it just helps because life's going to throw you so many curveballs. I mean, I went through the biggest curveball of my life last year, having a premarital birth. And, I was like, and, a funny story with that. I think people would appreciate this. I remember sitting in the car on Jordan's bachelor party and it was me and Garrett in the back seat, I think. And then I think up front, it was Raul.
Yeah.
And who was
Paul? It was probably Paul.
It was Paul. And we're sitting there, we're talking about, just fun stuff, guy stuff. And I remember it came up, like pregnancy came up, and I was like, oh man, Amanda's worried about being pregnant right now. I'm like, all right, no way she's pregnant. We're so safe. We're like, it's fine, and
dude.
Guess what? God humbled me really quick.
Yep.
And I thought, you want to talk about that first, 2 or 3 days of finding out and how I felt. I was like, I'm 9 hours away from Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anywhere financially where I need to be to support a child. I need to really bust my butt to get things situated where we can be in the same house, we can raise this child, and we can finally be together. And I think the funny thing was, it only stunk for like a couple days. And then when I finally, when I prayed so hard and me and Amanda talked about our situation and what we needed to do, it was funny because the moment we finally prayed about it so hard, we talked about it and made a plan, it all just worked out. And we remained positive through the whole situation. And here we are finally living together and Garrett knows this, being long distance, it is not fun sometimes. So when you're finally living together and we finally get to build the life we want together, have a beautiful child. I mean, I just don't think I could see it any other way. I mean, it's been such a blessing. And, I think the hardest part was really just finding the plan to do it, be positive through it. But I think just positivity as a whole, I just think it shapes everyone's mindset differently, and you can attack the issue so much better. And my common thing I always say is people will love to say, why is this happening to me? I love to say, what is this trying to teach me? That's what I always say.
that mindset.
What am I trying
That's
to learn?
great.
You know,
Yeah,
so
that's really good.
yeah, I hope that answers it. But I mean, positivity is great, man. I think if you can even brighten one person's day, I mean, this podcast alone, just one. I mean, we're trying to broadcast. We're trying to make just one person happier or positive, and I think that's just enough for me.
Yep.
Because life's too short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, if you don't
Yep.
mind me sharing, Colton,
Share.
I remember when you were in Orlando, and I'm over here in Melbourne, not even an hour away really, and we barely saw each other, unfortunately. But I do remember when you were talking, you talked a little bit about it today, a couple years ago, when you went through some trials, and just kind of a real low in your life, and we talked about that together, because we were both kind of in the same area, where we were just really down in ourselves and not so positive. And I think that period in your life, from an outside perspective looking in, um, I think that period of your life was a defining period, no doubt.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of decisions, like you talked about, that you had to make to kind of pick yourself back up, figure out how you can take care of yourself, because that was a time where you had to make the choice to really focus and uh, and improve yourself. And it yes, it's at any time you can choose to help improve others, but that time especially was a time to focus on yourself, and that was a defining moment for you in my eyes. And I think that has really shaped you into the person that you are now. It's really given you a different perspective. It's given you uh, a positive lens to look at life through. So it's been inspiring, I'll tell you that for sure.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. Yeah. And you said it perfectly. I think it just, you got to go through it to come out on the other side. And, again, I think, and Jordan Garrett too. I mean, I think you just grow so much as a young adult, and you're going to be put through so many different things. And Jordan's right. I mean, at the same time of our period of our lives, we were like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? But now you look 4 years ahead and look how great everything is,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you said it great, Jordan. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, my dad, he says it's super cheesy, let me tell you. And anything, if my dad, anything that comes out of his mouth is relatively cheesy. But when I was going through, trials and just a low in my life, around the same time that Colton was, one thing that I'll never forget that my dad just kept telling me, and super cheesy, and I was like, well, that's just so easy for you to say. He would say, you know, it'll get better. It'll always get better someday. Someday, each day that you go on, it will continue to get better. And he was right. It was super cheesy in the moment, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you're just saying stuff. Yeah, you're just saying words to try and make me feel better, and it's not really working. But you know what? I look back at it, and he was right. If you can just get up and get 1% better every single day, whatever event occurred in your life. And for me, that was getting out of my apartment and going to the gym, like starting to take care of myself. Um, if I could do that, then each day it would get just a little bit better. It would just a little bit better. So I think it's good whenever you have those moments in life where suck, for lack of a better word, that really suck. Now that is the time to really focus and take care of yourself. So
absolutely.
So, Colin, I kind of want to combine a couple questions here, if you don't mind. So, you obviously carry an innate personality of leadership, whether you know it or not. And you may say, I'm not a leader, brother, you're a leader. And whether you know it or not, And how do you see yourself impacting or leading others in the future? And what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered?
Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, being a leader, it's funny. I think I'm like, I don't know if I'm really best suited for that leadership, that L word, because I think it's one of those things that I think it takes a special person to be a great leader. I think sometimes the best leaders are the ones who don't necessarily want to lead, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I've been in a couple of positions in my life where I've had to lead, whether it was at Centos, a managing Cooper drivers. I had a couple of guys, 2, 3 guys, running routes, having to help them out with their situation, make their numbers. Time even in sports. I mean, all of us, all 3 of us in sports, having to lead, younger guys on the team to, adopt a mindset of like, hey, we need to win, we need to do this, this, and this.
Hmm.
But I think what has helped, and I guess maybe just where I see myself in the future is really when I think about being a sales manager, because I think now it's just career based. Leadership is like, hey, and where I want to be in my career and how I want to lead reps, to make their goals and meet their goals. I think it's always to lead from the front, and I know it sounds like a so super common answer. But I think if you do it yourself and you adopt it yourself, then I think it just makes it natural for people to want to follow that, and they
Yeah.
see you doing it every single day and you're
Yep.
positive about it and you're crushing it. I think people naturally are drawn to that. It's just human nature. So I think when I am a sales manager, I think there's definitely some things I would do that other managers maybe don't, maybe be a little bit more, be laid back, but not, so laid back where they can just get away with everything, but also just be there for them and help them and assist them. And I think the best thing, and even, you talk to people who are coaches or anybody who develops, I think the most satisfaction you get being a leader is seeing someone develop. I think it's so cool to like, even see myself 5 years ago to where I am now, how much I developed, see you 2 gentlemen, how far you've come in the past 5-10 years and see how much you developed. I think it's just really cool. And I think just being able to use the strengths that God's given all of us to lead that way is really important. When it comes to legacy, now I hope this does not sound depressing, but I promise it's not, because I truly feel this way. I would not mind if I wasn't remembered, and I don't want that to sound bad. What I mean by that is, uh, God has given me so much more than I've ever deserved. I am just a regular dude hanging out on this big old floating rock, is what I say. And I have got everything I've ever wanted. I'm so grateful. I have a beautiful wife, soon to be wife, that's coming. Beautiful wife, beautiful child, great job. And I know those things can change. Well, hopefully not, but those things can be, given and taken because God has his infinite plan for all of us. But I mean, if I were to go away tomorrow, I guess the only one thing I would say is I made just, I helped somebody along the way, and I gave Amanda and Clementine everything they needed. And I mean, and I was a good son, brother, husband. I mean, that's all I want to be remembered by. I don't need to be, remembered by anybody. Just as long as those near me and close to me, knew I loved them and I took care of them. That's all I need, man. I'm getting emotional, man. Y'all can't be asking these questions, but no, but that's all, man. I mean, that's really it. So
No, that's good. Well, let me tell you, you've already impacted at least one person. So
just one, 2. Now we have to change the
Amen.
podcast to just
make
2.
it 2.
That's good, man. That's good.
Just 2 people.
Garrett, anything else before we close out?
No, I think that's really good. I think, that's kind of the Colton. The way you said it, and to me, is interesting. But I think even still, it's relatable. Wanting to impact the people that are around you and near you. Like, you want to be known as someone that's loved well and been selfless to other people. I always think of my papa. He passed away a couple of years ago, and he was by our standards, he's just a regular guy, like Colton said. He didn't do anything crazy, but to me, he was a hero because he was the most selfless man that I ever knew. He was a man after God's heart. He treated my Nana and my family with respect, and he was an incredible dad to my dad. Raised him to be a good dad to me. So even though he's quote unquote a regular guy, didn't have a national or global impact, he had an impact on my life, and he will impact my kids' lives because there are things that he did that I will take into my parenting. So it's what you said. It's the depth. It's not the width. You want to be known for your depth.
That's awesome.
I think that's a good way to
regular
approach
people making not so regular impacts.
That's right.
That's right. If you want to change the world, change your world.
Amen.
John Maxwell.
Colton, we appreciate you, man. We love you, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today.
Yes, dude.
We love talking to you, man. We really do. We love talking to you.
Oh,
Amen.
Man.
We are definitely going to have you back on one day.
Y'all are sweet, man. Y'all make me, now I'm ready to go conquer anything. I can come out here and go talk to the meanest doctor, and after this conversation, man, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I appreciate you guys. Love you both, man. And for those who don't know these guys personally like I do,
love you,
truly
brother.
The two best dudes, and you have come to the right place to get any type of leadership advice, any life advice, or if you just want some good news. Seriously, I mean, you guys have come to the right place with this podcast, and these two guys are wonderful. I've known them my whole lives, and I can truly say they're the best. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you.
Ditto, brother.
I'm looking forward to the Colton journeys being revived. So.
Let's revive it, baby. Let's revive it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, you guys. Let's do it. Thank you, guys. We hope we made you laugh. We hope we made you smile. Now it's your turn. Go impact just one
brothers.
person. See y'all.
It's one brothers.
Later.